communicate about IP, what is patent, what is this, that around IP, and how to deal with it, etc., etc., I think the first thing you need to create the environment which talks about innovation, which appreciates the innovation, which basically is geared up for the next level of conversation. So first conversation is about innovation.
A new brand is being launched, a brand maybe that's going to be selling let's say toiletries in the future. Now just agreeing on a name, you know, uh, and whether a lot of times, our businesses come to us and they say that, this is the list of proposed brand names we have, and we'd like to go ahead, maybe register, maybe 10 out of a list of 50, for example, considering Reliance is a large ecosystem. Now, the education that we've kind of, I would say, or the mindset that we finally driven them to in the last 2 years that we've been doing IP is that we are glad that they come to us for approval before launching.
Considered as one of the dry subjects, right? It is out of sight, then it's out of mind. And especially to just echo what Nitin also mentioned, most of the employees or engineers always feel that this is something is not, a cup of their tea, or probably it's not part of their regular work. It's a stretch, right? And how do we make it as a day-to-day thing? So the culture that we are talking about is about all of us together, right? So I would say it's all about IP engagement, and the simple formula for engagement, top down or bottom up, is basically, I would say, three things. Yeah, relevance, convenience, and culture.
Basically, it's the entire ecosystem. So legal definitely is an enabler. Every organization, when legal is there, they're the huge enablers. But there has to be in the entire DNA of the organization when you're talking about IP. And when I'm talking about IP, I'm talking about the value creation, the value what it is kind of creating in an organization. It might be through different areas. Might be like someone who is a software company would be looking at the patents, or the pharmaceutical company looking at the patents. Like a company like ours would be looking at the source codes, the copyrights, or somewhere else would be looking at the GIs.
Whenever you start the education part, you have to understand that what is the current state and what is the product that the company has to sell. Like a company that is into luxury goods or perfumes kind of thing, they have a very big presence in the trademark space. They have some patents, they would have some packaging and everything, but the most of the bigger issue would be to understand trademarks, trade dresses, and litigations. What can happen? What can be considered as an infringement?
You have a brand which could be like I don't know, it could be like Angel. And it's very important to be very careful of whether you should be registering something like Angle as well, because what happens is, just because something is not your IP and you think, okay, I'll have to pay GoDaddy $7,000 every year for a domain name that I don't use. I think we found that it's very, very useful to have even domain names that are close to your domain names